AITA-Husband is completely delusional. To preface, I love him to death and he is a great man and husband. But he will never take accountability for not doing what needs to be done, and believes that his way of thinking is valid, even when it's not. My husband had plans to travel for work, and to have his out-of-town colleague stay in our home for 2 nights on the day he comes back. He's told me about this 2 to 3 weeks prior. He left on Tuesday morning, coming back on Thursday evening. I told him that I would get the entire house ready for his guest and that the only thing I ask of him is to get the guest room ready. Over the past couple weeks, I would keep reminding him to get the guest room ready as I'm deep cleaning the house on top of cooking meals, taking care of our dog, and doing laundry. Mind you, I work full-time and also happen to be out of town for work on Monday and Tuesday. I got home late last night and went straight to bed. I woke up this morning and called him, asked if he got the guest room ready before he left town. He was very hesitant to answer the question, so I decided to check on the room myself. It was not ready, and in fact he had dumped some of his old stuff on the bed that he intends on donating. The bed wasn't made, old boxes and wrappers from his purchases thrown everywhere, and vacuuming hasn't been done. The only task I asked him to do for his guest was to just get the room ready. Then, he says that it's something that I need to do since he's the one working and that there hasn't been enough time. Again, I work full-time and was out of town on M&T, and the past few weekends, he's been doing nothing but wake up at noon, watch football and drink with friends. Obviously, I'm frustrated at this point. I basically told him that there's nothing he can say to make this okay because all I'm hearing from him at this point are excuses to try to justify himself on leaving all the household duties on his wife. I also told him that it's not the 1950s anymore and that the idea of a housewife died when women started to go to work full-time. I ended the phone call with something like, "I don't know who you think I am, but if you think I'm going to do everything for you like how your mother did, you may as well go back home because I'm not the one." He then started to gaslight me and calling me dramatic, that I always have a stick up my ass when he's out of town, and that I should have done it if I had all the time to bitch and cry about the room to him over the past few weeks. There's more said and done to this scenario, but this post summarizes this interaction. AITA for being incredibly frustrated and stressed out that he wouldn't do this one task for his guest, prioritize his responsibilities? Or am I overreacting and should just clean and set up the guest room, after I've deep cleaned our 2,000 square foot home over the past 2 weeks after work and over the weekends? NTA and I, 44F, understand the bind you're in too, because if you don't clean the room then more than likely, the colleague is going to think badly of you as the woman of the house. Which is bullshit. I'd tell your husband that he needs to book a hotel for his guest as your home isn't prepared for a guest. Also, I wouldn't have reminded him. I would have maybe made Sue there's a clean set of sheets available and then let him panic clean in front of his friends. But my partner wouldn't pull this shot with me either. NTA. So not only did he not get the basic room setup done, but he had actually made it dirtier recently? He left it with the assumption that you would pick up his slack. Prove him wrong. Do not touch one thing in that room. If he doesn't want to be embarrassed in front of his colleague, then he can bust his ass when he gets home and clean it. You're not his mom. You shouldn't have to micromanage him.
AITA for telling my ex I have no interest in being a father to our child? I'm 34M. My ex is 33F. We have a child together, 6M Nico. She has full custody. I only pay child support and never see Nico. We were casually dating 7 years ago and I was always very clear about never wanting children. When she got pregnant, I told her that I will financially support her and pay any amount of child support, but I don't want to be a father. I have a really good job in finance, make a lot of money, and send her child support regularly. I had a drug problem in my early 20s, then a drinking problem when we were dating. I am quick to anger, I am selfish, reckless, and my father's treatment of me as a child stuck with me. I would make a terrible father. I thought it was better for both my ex and Nico to be a family on their own. Nico started school this September and my ex contacted me. We haven't spoken in months, and she told me that Nico wants me to come to career day at school and that he really wants to hang out with me. I told her no, because I won't give myself a chance to screw Nico up the way my dad did with me. AITA? I know I am generally not a very good person, but am I the here specifically? Going to get down voted to hell, but NTA as a child raised in her early years with a man that should have never had children NTA. Some kids are better off without certain parents in their lives. They can be toxic and harmful to children. I wish my father knew to just F off. At least you pay child support, mine didn't. The child isn't going to see it like that though. They will probably miss this relationship they don't have. They're not old enough to understand what damage someone who doesn't want to be there can do. I do think YTA for not getting the damn snip. 28 was old enough to realize you don't want children. This may be unpopular, but NTA. You never wanted children. You made it clear that you never wanted children. And honestly, it sounds like you are putting your child's best interests at heart because you know you would not be a good parent. You sound introspective and mature. It's unfortunate that Nico has to grow up without a father figure, but I don't think you're an asshole for not wanting to push the envelope.
WIBTA for not introducing my daughter to her biological mother? My daughter is 11F. Her biological mother is 29F, Erica. My son, 33M, got Erica pregnant, who we knew as a daughter of a friend, and she decided she didn't want the baby. My son didn't want the baby either. We offered to financially help Erica out if we were able to adopt the baby, as we'd always wanted another child, but it never happened for us. We paid her rent for 2 years whilst she went to college. Cut to 11 years later. We unfortunately have a poor relationship with our son, as he doesn't want to be involved with our daughter, but we see him and text him frequently enough. He visited us and told us Erica had asked to see our daughter. My husband had told her when she was pregnant that we may allow contact, but honestly we don't think that's best for our daughter at this stage. It'll be confusing and upsetting. I told her when our daughter is emotionally well enough we'll tell her, but right now she's going through therapy for anxiety. My son thinks I'm Erica has a 2-year-old now and said she couldn't even imagine how our daughter will feel when she does find out that Erica has a family. My son and Erica both believe I'm but not only that, Erica's parents that I've known for over 25 years are now refusing contact and insulting us to common friends, saying they allowed the adoption, but Erica has a right to know her daughter. Nobody had a problem 3 years ago when we went through this. Erica contacted us then and we shot her down, telling her that we weren't comfortable until our daughter was an adult. But now suddenly everyone is losing their mind. WIBTA? Originally was going to go with NAH until I read that your daughter doesn't even know she's adopted. That is an important fact that every adopted child should know from the beginning. Even if it originated from a bad situation. Trust me, as an adopted child, if I were to find out I was adopted when years down the line, I would be pissed. It's better to tell her now before some serious resentment kicks in. Get her into therapy too. We all have to do things we don't want to do, but you're leaving out a pretty part of your daughter's life. At her age, it's going to rock her world regardless. YTA. NTA, because I think you are trying to figure out what's best for your daughter, but you are the for not having a plan to avoid this situation. Did you ever plan on telling your daughter? Does she know your son is her father? You may want to consult the therapist on this issue sooner than later. ETA, the fact that your son is her bio dad and he visits frequently, and it sounds like bio grandparents were still involved until recently, is seriously effed up. You're not doing your daughter any favors. Talk to her therapist before any of these people do something stupid. You cannot control what other people do.